Chapter 14. The Memory Unit.
Their undetected romance continued on the short haul back to Delta 4B. Zentran's crew had no idea of the interlinking doorway between their captain's cabin and the adjoining guest suite, or the undisclosed purpose it served. Zentran docked the freighter at the interplanetary docking bay on Delta 4B and wished Fora a formal farewell for the benefit of the crew. Thanking her for the guidance computer upgrade, he saluted her as she was about to disembark. This required gesture for them was out of place, too ceremonial, but it carried more sentiment for Zentran. He remembered their mutual salute from a bygone life as the electric swordsman of Rowan. She'd pinned a medal on his chest then. Now, just as formally, although that memory was lost to her in this life, she reciprocated, turned and walked away. In his quarters, Zentran considered how best to gain the information they required from the Council's central computer. Access codes presented a problem. The installation beneath Alpha 1 building would be a formidable system to crack. He felt a presence outside his door. Leia, a servant girl assigned to his block, was unsure of Zentran's presence and trying to decide whether she should enter. Zentran went to the door and opened it. It startled her. Zentran invited her inside to perform her duties. He reclined on a sleeping unit protruding from the wall and returned his attention to the matter of the access codes. He noticed Leia's attention on him as she went about her maintenance functions. Curiously, her thoughts indicated an attraction to him, one of respect, but there was something else, something from a distant past. He withdrew from the intrusion. She bore some resemblance to Venru, but her maintenance attire portrayed her as plain. Zentran sat up and placed his feet on the floor.
Thank you, Leia. I'll see to the rest myself.
She left without word or gesture. Satisfied that he'd found a way of getting to the Council computer's access codes, he rested. Thoughts of Fora brought him unseen to her quarters on the other side of the city. She stirred from sleep, sensing him. Grasping how he proposed obtaining the access codes, she shuddered. The plan presented considerable work and danger. Only Zentran's tenacity could undertake such a task. Zentran's freighter was undergoing maintenance by a few on-duty crew members. Lookalikes pervade the docking bay deck unnoticed, but for Zentran's discerning eye. Inspired by his purpose, he chose to ignore them. Those on the dock floor were no match for him. Strangely, he didn't consider them enemies.
Why?
He wondered.
Is it their unexplainable mental power? Or is it the piteous look behind their photon sensors?
In the freighter, he concerned himself with a suitable piece of equipment. He needed a memory device with sufficient data retention to hold the information and something that wouldn't be missed. An obsolete device he'd retained for storing music on his long haul would suffice. Reverting its configuration back to data retention wouldn't present a problem. Neither would increasing its data acceptance speed to what the Council computer probably ran at. There were component spares on board he could use to modify it. He emerged from the freighter with the rebuilt memory unit and additional crystals tucked into his inside jacket pocket. Two lookalikes approached with clear intention to intercept him. He ascertained from their processing units that they were making routine checks on random individuals. He wondered what made their thinking processes readable. They were definitely machines, with plastic and synthetic rubber bodies, metal alloy bone structure, and driven by electronic processes. Gently, he installed a suggestion that he was a harmless individual. They let him pass without further consideration. It was mid-sequence, as Leia once more performed maintenance functions. With his insight, Zentran viewed her differently.
Good sequence, sir.
She ventured. A greeting was bold for maintenance personnel. Zentran respected her pluck.
Good sequence, Leia.
He reclined opposite a display monitor. Moving exterior, he inspected inside the monitor and selected a point to connect the modified memory device. His curiosity returned to Leia as she cleaned the food preparation area. Besides an exquisite form concealed beneath her work attire, an alert mind dedicated to efficiency abided.
Why has she been assigned this lowly position?
He wondered.
She is capable of far more.
Her spiritual aura showed a few dark areas, probably the result of deprogramming.
Please bring me a refreshment, Leia.
He observed that she'd taken in the request, but was undecided on the type of refreshment.
Some synthetic nectar juice will do,
he added. Leia brought the drink. Her eyes caught his as she passed it. Insecurity caused her to let go of the glass too soon. Zentran caught it, making nothing of the mishap to ease her embarrassment.
You've been seeing to my quarters for a long time, and I know nothing about you other than your name. Have you always lived here in the Twilight Sector?
Yes, sir.
The girl was ill at ease. Zentran continued talking to help her through it.
Throughout the Confederation, the Twilight Sector on Delta 4B is regarded with awe. We, of course, who live here know better. How did you become a maintenance operative?
Leia's trepidation enhanced the dark areas in her aura, but as she spoke, they subsided somewhat.
I don't remember my parents. I grew up in a council orphanage not far from here.
Zentran remembered that Zack also had. She continued.
There I received technical maintenance training for upper middle class quarters.
I see.
Zentran assumed her training had included conditioning and deprogramming, although she bore the council no malice. In fact, she thought highly of them. They were thorough.
What would you really like to do? If you were free to choose anything at all?
The question confused her at first. She'd considered maintenance functions primarily, especially those concerning Zentran's quarters. But something else emerged that she chose not to mention.
Did you think of something?
Zentran knew and wanted her to strengthen the notion by verbalizing it.
A dancer.
She mistook Zentran's smile as one of jeer. He reassured her.
You have the body of a dancer, one that would do well on the entertainment strips of Delta 2.
Fora's presence revealed itself outside. Zentran got up to let her in as Leia resumed her duties. Fora noticed the mental flows.
She likes you.
I know. She's pleasant and quite bright. You not knocking and foregoing a verbal greeting did not go amiss.
Leia felt awkward and knew her notion towards Zentran had no place. Being a dancer had just as little credence now. With the completion of her duties, she left without a word.
I collected a memory unit from the ship.
Zentran retrieved it from his pocket and handed it to Fora.
I've inserted 2 sensors at the input. Take one of them to the incoming cable that goes to your communications panel, and the other to the cable going to your screen. The sensors can pick up data through the cable's insulation. Everything will be recorded in the crystal memory. This is an old device, but there's enough memory for about 2 sequences.
I'll bring it back after each sequence. It'll be too risky to leave in my office during downtime.
That will be enough for a start.